Hi and welcome along, and thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I hope you like this small chess session that I bring you. First of all, I'm going to bring you today's lead chess puzzle for the day, and it's reasonably easy, a bit of a deflection sort of thing. And then after that, I'm going to show you two games only. Reasonably quickly, I won't take too long about it. The reason being is all the other games are no good. I could only find two games that were good enough, and they weren't played on the same day. So I bring you the puzzle. Okay, so here we go. Black has just played rook f4, and it's your move now. So I will try to be quiet and hope you find it. So it is relatively easy to find, and it involves a check in the sequence somewhere for white. And so here comes the solution, and I hope you found it. It is, of course, queen f4, taking the rook on f4, losing the queen for the rook. Good idea, let's go. Let's finish up. Can't play chess, it's obvious. Now we have bishop d5 check, and then we need to play rook f4, otherwise the puzzle is not complete. Now I wish to show you this game that was played yesterday, and my opponent is 2-4-5-3. It's the only game I played that was any good. All the other games were, let me not say it. So here we go. Let's have a look at this game, and then the next game, which was played earlier on today. So my opponent is 2-4-6-3. So we have a sort of a Benko. It's also called something else. And there were a lot of mistakes on the way in this 3-minute game that was played before. E6. So what's the sort of move you're going to play now? And I'm not saying it's any good, but what's the sort of move you're going to play now, or you can play now? What sort of move would you like to play? Knight d5? Bishop c4? We're wondering about that pawn on e6, really. As if we play knight d5 now, then bishop d5 is quite reasonable because it's attacking the pawn 3 times on e6 with bishop, knight, queen. So I played something that I got from Korchnoy's best games, or 100 best games. I played a move that is sort of in the theme of what he would play, or maybe not. Knight h7. Now king h7, and then I have queen h5 check, you see, and there's no capture of the queen, which some pawns would like to do, but in this case it's impossible because of the bishop on d3, of course. So back came king g8 and queen g6. I mean bishop g6. This just threatens queen h7 checkmate. So, or bishop f7, but really queen h7 checkmate. So here comes knight f6, fair enough, and I played bishop f7, which forced rook f7, ef7, king f8. Now, this is sort of like tentative, this position, especially when we're playing a 2-4-6-3 player. In blitz, I played queen g6, queen c6, and now, of course, black has this wonderful setup of these two along this diagonal pointing to my king on g2. So I have to always keep a lookout on this pawn here. I always have to defend it, otherwise I get checkmated. h4. So I play h4 and h5 so that black can then play knight h5, and I cannot capture because of queen g2, checkmate aforementioned. So here's knight f5, and obviously I cannot capture this knight. I'd like to, but I cannot. Knight f5, rook e2. Now the move rook e2 frees up my queen to be able to capture things here and there. But black has ideas of now knight h4, queen g3, and I'm hanging on a thread. I'm hanging on with a wing and a prayer, which that might help, because otherwise it doesn't look too good, does it? Knight f5, queen h3. Now I am threatening queen f5. So knight h6, f5, knight f7, bishop f4. Finally developing, David. Finally developing. And c4 comes about. Rook ae1, rook e8, as rook e7 was a good idea for white. And knight e4, rook e4. Here my opponent decided to go queen e4, rook e4, bishop e4, g4. I don't know what's going on here, but I was actually quite worried of bishop b2 check. I mean, bishop takes b2. I thought that was quite a good move. Rook b8, and I played g5. I just thought, wow, these are my only compensation. But this pawn here looks very, very scary, for me at least. Rook b2, g6, and bishop g4, bishop e3, rook g2. Wow, is this tentative? Rook g2, king f1, bishop e3, queen e3. Now I'm threatening queen e4. So white is met with knight g5. Wow, the coordination of these pieces for black is not too bad, eh? So what do? I go queen d4 and my opponent blunders. So what does my opponent play? My opponent blunders, so there's a few moves after queen d4. My opponent plays d5. Not a good idea, as queen h8 is checkmate. So now I will show you the next game, and then I will bid you farewell. And I hope you enjoyed this game so far, and I hope you worked out the puzzle. So here we go. Sorry about that. I don't know if that came up on the screen, but it's still getting used to this. And here is game 2. I hope you enjoy this game. I actually really enjoyed this game, even though it's not as highly rated player as my other opponent. This game is really fun. I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. Without further ado, let's have a look at this game. h3, I felt like it. My opponent ended up with 2.1 seconds left, as according to the stats on the in a daily blitz arena today. And I ended up with 256 in this 5-minute tournament. My opponent, by the way, went berserk mode. So here comes f6. So what's the sort of follow-up you're going to play, do you think? Here came queen b3 check with the idea of rook f2 or king up to g2 or something. So I thought it was pretty well curtains here. So king h8, rook f2, fg5, and of course I win a piece, rook h2 check, bishop g5. This looks pretty cruisy, doesn't it, really? Black seems to survive this, but they are playing a little bit limited time comparative to my one. All I need to do is get my queen to e6 and to g6, checkmate, or similar. But black has other ideas. Rook f5. So I could play that now, but then I have to face rook g5. Ouch. And then king h6. Ouch again. So bishop e3. So this bishop is, of course, loaded to the defense of the rook h6, e6, and so here, can I take the pawn on e6? Or do you think I should take the pawn on e6? No, of course not. As if I play queen e6 check, not a check, then rook g5 captures my rook on h6. As bishop g5 is no good, as queen takes bishop on g5, and then resulting queen h6 check, or rook f8 check, or whatever is best for black, of course. So rook h2, chickened out, and now I have my opponent sacrifice. Well done. Bishop g5, rook g5. I mean, rook g5 check, bishop g5, and this is actually quite annoying. Queen g5. Now what do you do? Panic. What do you do now? I played rook g2. Now came queen e3. Now what would you like to play? I played... Now king h1 really looks very, very scary because rook h8 check will follow. Okay. And there it's only rook h2 for white to play. And then rook takes rook check. King takes h2, and then queen e2, and okay, I've got the exchange up, but look at that creepy queen on e2, can check me forever and a day, so probably will too, as much as that is possible, so it's pretty creepy looking. So upon queen e3 check, I played king f1. This is actually looking quite bad, but it seems to protect myself. Feels a bit more comfortable than king h2, which is rook h8 check and then rook h5 checkmate. So this was more comfortable, even though it doesn't look very nice. It looks pretty creepy. So here's rook f8 a check, of course, king e1, and rook h8. Oh no, now what? Shall I play rook g6 check? No, I played this move here, queen b7, and all of a sudden my opponent's position sort of comes tumbling down a wee bit. mind you, I'm not completely sure about this. I haven't really checked it. King g8, rook g6, that's it, that's final. Here my opponent on king f8 offered me a draw. And I've got a little bit of time up my sleeve, so I refused the draw and played queen g7. And that's the end of this session. I hope you enjoyed this session. A little bit different because I brought you 2 games and, of course, the chess puzzle of the day from leechess.org. Bye for now. Take care. Know that you are very, very special and very important. Everyone is. And by the way, you're unique just like everyone else. So everyone's unique. And so am I, obviously. Bye for now.